The Real Estate Revolution radio show is designed to educate Missoula homeowners and home buyers how to navigate the uncharted waters of the current Western Montana real estate market in an educational, often edgy, and high-energy fashion with host Jason Baker. Jason will teach you all the secrets on how to win with real estate, from listing your property to purchasing investments. Jason has you covered. Be sure to check the home of the week, the good news, and current market updates each week. Jason is revolutionizing the real estate experience for over 100 clients a year.
Welcome to Real Estate Revolution Radio with Jason Baker of Rise Realty. Jason, how has your week been for you?
Oh, buddy. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's been good. I'm wore out, though. I'm glad it's the weekend. No, it's been a crazy week. Our property of the week here on O'Keefe, again, it went under contract. It was just amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Didn't take long.
Been an amazing week for my agents. They're out showing property and listing property daily, so I'm so proud of them. And looking forward to bringing the show today. A little tutelage on, we've been talking a lot about sellers, especially the last two shows, right, Casey?
Yeah.
And, of course, it's not just sellers out there. It's buyers as well. So we want to educate the buyers on how to win. I mean, the number one thing right now is, Jason, I just looked this morning. There's only 9 homes in Missoula County under 500K.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Yeah.
So naturally on those, they're going to pay. And we just put one live on Snapdragon, and we already have like 25 showings. We put one live on Mesa yesterday. I think there's 25 to 30 showings scheduled on that. I mean, stacked 30-minute intervals for the next 2 or 3 days.
When you list one, does it immediately just phone's ringing off the hook?
We should talk about this too. That brings up a great point. Yeah, it is. It's like I almost need to hire someone else just to answer the phones, and we have people that do that, of course, on our team. But it's nonstop. I mean, there's a barrage of phone calls from out of state, in state, people moving up, moving down, these kinds of things. But everybody asks me, they say, well, Jason, like the number one question I received today on the 20 people I've spoken with already, okay, is how do I how do I get my offer in? And so we're going to talk about how to win your offer. But the first thing people should know is most real estate agents right now, due to the amount of calls that they get, the amount of out-of-state buyers that there is, are doing something what they called an offer phase. And so an offer phase is when, it's when, so for instance, if I put one live on Tuesday, there's people from all over that want to come see this house.
They'll give it some time to get offers. They're not going to take the first one they get.
Got to let it ruminate.
Yeah.
You got to let it
marinate.
Got to marinate. Yeah. Get a little ferment. So, so you put it live on Tuesday. Our goal is to put everything live on Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. Have an open house on a Sunday, and then hold the offers open until Sunday night or Monday night, and let people know Monday or Tuesday which offer the seller decided to go with. And again, we'll discuss how to structure that offer so that you can win if you're on the buying side of that. But the offer phase is so important. It's important to know that there actually is an offer phase, because a lot of people are like, I love that house. I want to make an offer, and I want to know tonight if I won.
Yeah, it's like Facebook Marketplace. If you ever tried to buy something on Facebook Marketplace, if you're not the first person in the comments,
no holds, and they start beating on each other in the comments. Ever seen that? It's so funny. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a $3 T-shirt from 1970. It's okay if you didn't.
Imagine doing that with real estate, though, having to type in next. Next.
I mean, next. Yeah, I mean, we should put a boxing ring in the front yard of some of these things. Yeah, for sure. I mean, can you imagine all
these paper rock scissors?
Yeah, paper rock scissors. Yeah, with batakas, and everything like that. No, but it's crazy. And the reason why sellers are doing that, and again for buyers, it's important to know, the reason why the sellers are doing that is because they have to allow people to get there. They have to allow people an opportunity to put their bid in, and they want time to decide what works best for them. Because most of the sellers still have to find an offer. There has to be enough buyers through the home, through good marketing, et cetera, enough buyers through the home to find the buyer that'll let them stay for a little while.
Yeah.
Because not all buyers, it's a now society. I think you could agree with me.
Give me the keys.
Yeah, give me the keys, right, baby. Come on. So, and that's how it is. And so, that offer phase allows people to get there, the seller to have enough time to review it, because it is a seller's market, very much so. And then, have enough time to choose the right offer. And sometimes the highest offer is not the best offer. Yeah. And what we're seeing a lot right now, we'll go over this here in the next little bit, is we're seeing a lot of offers that are, waiving the appraisal, waiving the inspection, and just, buying it as is. And of course, giving them 6 months to move out. And, there's a lot of stuff sellers can get away with now that they used to not be able to get away with. Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy. So, well, you want to hop right in? Just get into the 21 ways to win?
We should, I think.
Yeah,
yes.
I think, so if I do this, this PowerPoint that I'm looking at right now is boring as PowerPoints. Oh my gosh, I thought after I got out of college, I'd never ever
I think you did a great job, Jason.
Can you believe that? Yeah. And there's no way that I actually did that. Someone on my team did that. Someone that knows how to use those and do that, has an artistic mind. So, but it's the number one thing, and a lot of calls I got this morning. It's so good that I got this many calls just to remind me of the process and the struggle that buyers are going through. But half the people I spoke to this morning, and number one is make sure that you're ready to make an offer. In other words, if you're not paying cash,
you have your pre-approval letter.
Be pre-approved.
Yeah.
And if you are paying cash, you better have a bank statement. You can cross out your number there, but that has your name and that has that you have this much that you can afford the actual house that you're going to look at.
Yeah.
So that's number one, is to get pre-approved. And so
it's not extremely difficult to get pre-approved either.
It's a great question. So every single bank that's worth their salt right now, in my opinion, will have a web link that you can go to and click on it and call. But the beautiful thing about that is, like, well, I don't want to do it over the internet. I don't trust the internet. Well, neither do I, for sure.
Still have money in your bed?
I do. I can't say where it's at. You know what I mean? Because my address is
stuffed in your mattress.
But it might be somewhere like somewhere on the property on the 90 acres. Yeah. Somewhere there could be in a deer blind.
There you go. now you're just giving away locations.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're going to come down and
do some treasure hunting.
Yeah, do some treasure hunting down there. Yeah. So that's the most important thing, is to get the pre-qual. Go online. Go ahead and fill that out, right, and get that done, and have that letter in your email so you can give it to your agent that you're working with, so that when you go to structure the offer, it's just ready. So just kind of goes without saying, but so many people are afraid to go start the process.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lender in here eventually to talk about this.
Just getting the ball rolling.
Just get the ball rolling.
Yeah. And tis the season, too, because it's tax season, so you're going to have all of your financial stuff already collected and ready to go. So you can have that pre-approval letter ready. It's
just sitting there, those dang tax. Why did you have to? I was in a good mood.
You don't bring that up.
Oh, I know.
It's not like a four-letter word,
but it's a reverse payday. That's what that is. But anyway, so then when you're submitting an offer, it's really good that your real estate agent has a good rapport, or at least very good communication. So in a transaction, there's a buyer's agent and then there's a listing agent. And sometimes a listing agent also acts, they call it dual agency, as both. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And you want to let the listing agent know, if you're a real estate agent, and your real estate agent as the buyer should also tell the listing agent that, hey, this is my highest and best offer.
Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise they think you're trying to dicker, or you're trying to do something else. So there should be a very clear line of communication that says, yes, this actually is. So if you say this is my highest and best, do not be bluffing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no poker face.
I'm terrible at that. I'm sweating at the brow.
I'm terrible at it too. I'm terrible at most faces. So, and a lot of people right now are really like, the third thing that I recommend is, and my sellers like it, there's been time, and some states are actually outlawing this for some reason. I think they're trying to remove the emotion from the transaction, which I agree with in some ways. But the fact is that they're saying, write the seller a kick butt letter. Yeah. Write them a letter and that says, hey, here's, I got 23 dogs, 94 cats, and my kids really love they really love jumping on your bed while we're at the showing. Not supposed to do that, but
it's starting to sound like my fiance's dreams here.
So write them a good letter, and a lot of times, like, if it comes down to it, the seller is going to choose yours versus the one that, it kind of seems a little bit more impersonal. Mm-hmm. And again, some states are outlawing that because they definitely want to remove the emotion from that. Because, we've had a seller choose a lower offer because they like the story.
Because they like the person.
We're like, no, don't do that. Yeah. But luckily it went through, which was great. So, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's up to the seller to decide the offer that they feel is best for them. And we're just there to consult them and say, because for us, it's all about, it's an onion, and we're trying to remove as many layers as possible. We're trying to make it so that if we accept an offer, it'll close 100% of the time, or 99.9% of the time on the first time. Nobody likes a sale fail. Nobody wants their deal to fall through. No buyer, no seller wants that.
I have a huge fear of rejection.
Yeah. Well,
it's been that way since the ladies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, for me,
you go to prom with me?
Yeah, I know. I was so afraid to ask him. I'm like, how was your prom? I said, I never went. Well, why not? Well, I didn't ask anybody. I said I was waiting for someone to ask me. Yeah, but I went to an all-guy school, so I'm glad no one did. We told you the show would be edgy. So, yeah, for sure.
An interesting prom. Yeah. All right, well, we got more of the 21 tactics. I like the wording here. 21 tactics to get your buyer's offer accepted. More on that coming up right after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Real Estate Revolution Radio with Rise Realty and Jason Baker.
Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here with some personal advice for home sellers. Now, there are various companies or agents that will offer to give you cash up front for your home, but be careful. Now, often there are dramatically lower prices or hidden fees that the average person can miss, and that can cost you a lot of money. That's why I prefer to work with a great, smart real estate agent that truly knows the local market and can give me the best advice and put the most money in my pocket. I'm talking about Jason Baker of Rise Realty, Montana. Now, Jason can give you an instant cash offer, or with his accelerated demand program, well, he turns up the marketing and gets you the most money for your home. But more importantly, he can help you look at all the options with hundreds of potential buyers, and that creates demand for your home and helps your home sell at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he buys it. Don't leave money on the table. Talk to the only agent in town I recommend. Call Jason at 552-4443. Online, jasonbakerteam.com. That's jasonbakerteam.com.
From listing your property to purchasing investments, Jason Baker has got you covered. Time for more of the Real Estate Revolution Show.
All right, welcome back to Real Estate Revolution Radio Show with Jason Baker of Rise Realty. And Jason, today we're talking the 21 tactics to get your buyers' offers accepted. And it's all about the buyers today, so let's continue with that list.
It's all about the buyers. They've been neglected the last 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
It's just time. We just got to get it handled. So, you know, on a side note, I'm starving. Did you bring lunch?
It sounds like we're harboring a whale in
We're
here.
harboring. We're definitely. It could be two of them. That's exactly right. I know. Yeah, I'm doing this intermittent fasting thing. You know, I don't know if it's because my wife told me I'm a little too chubby or something like that. But so anyway,
it's almost Speedo weather.
Yeah, that's right.
You
21 ways to look better during Speedo weather. Yes, that's 21 tactics to look better this summer. So before the break, we were talking about 21 ways to get your offer approved. You know, it's such a competitive market out there. Multiple counter offers everywhere. You know, first thing we looked at was get pre-approved. Then we said let the list. You know, communicate well with the listing agent. Make sure to write the seller a letter if you so desire, just to kind of separate your offer. And realistically, and the fourth thing that we were talking about is don't ask too much from the seller, Casey. And the reason why we say that is there's going to be multiple offers probably 90% of the time on these houses. You're going to be competing against another offer when you go to buy. So if you're doing that and you're asking for all of this stuff, off-the-wall stuff, even the seller is going to choose the offer where it doesn't look like you're trying to take advantage of the seller, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, lots of buyers, unfortunately, right now feel taken advantage of by the seller. It's not really the seller's intent to do that. It's just that they're getting so many offers. They're spoiled right now. There will come a day where they're no longer spoiled.
It's going to flop back the other way, yeah.
Yeah. What they say, what goes up must come down, kind of like my weight right now. You know, the intermittent fasting. Oh, yeah. It's coming down much more slowly than it goes on.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be some law.
It's going to be a rough spring.
It's going to be a rough spring. That's right. So I always tell everybody I'm still wearing a T-shirt in the hot tub. So anyways.
It's still sweatshirt weather.
That's right, yeah. All summer long. When you go to make an offer, Casey, one of the big things is, let's say that the house is $500 and there's two offers there that come in at $550, let's just say. And, you know, and so there's this part on the buy sell that says, you know, earnest money or, you know, that you're going to put down. So sometimes upping that, like the average is $1,000 that people put on there. I would venture.
I think the minimum's like 500 or something.
Yeah, the minimum, 500. I mean, it's so hard for a seller to keep that anyways. There's so many ways a buyer, unfortunately, with the way that Montana contracts are written, that a buyer can get out of that contract, you know, up until the last minute oftentimes. So sometimes it's an irrelevant number. There are ways to protect the seller, and we look at all of those. But, you know, upping that could, if it's everything else is apples to apples, you know, help your offer look better to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, more money.
Yeah, well, that means you're more serious, too.
Yeah, exactly.
More money, more serious.
Well, when you see someone put a $10,000 earnest money down, someone's over here with $500, and that might be all they have. $500, and that might be $500 million. You know,
for me, that's a lot of money.
Do you know what I'm saying? I was going to say $2, but not for you, but for me, yeah. So, but one thing we're really starting to see, and another way to really set your offer up to win, is to waive the inspection. But that's scary.
Yeah.
Because what if you're buying a house, you know, you're down in Steve I, and, you know, it's built in, you know, 1591 or whenever the came.
I didn't know Steve I's been around that long.
It hasn't, but, you know, I'm just.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you what. Yeah, it could have been. So it could have been just.
I know it's one of the oldest communities in the state.
It really is. Yeah.
But 1591.
There are a few houses in town that do look like 1591. So, but it's one of those things where, if prudent, it might be a good idea if you find out, and it's really a good idea, talking about that communication from before, that your agent would ask the listing agent, how many offers do you have so far? Because then you know how competitive you have to be, and an agent with experience will basically know where to put that. Doesn't mean you wouldn't still lose, but when I hear that there's 10 offers, my offer structure is going to be much different than if there's one or none.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So I know that we're going to have to really crank that up.
Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, we've had offers where people offer $100,000 more and they lose. I mean, think about that.
They still lose.
And they lose. Yeah. It's because if they're financing, it's $100,000 over and there's a cash with a waived inspection, the seller's likely going to go with the cash unless your letter is awesome.
And you're like a real good, well-written.
Yeah, exactly right. You have a picture of all the puppies. Yeah, exactly. So, but waive inspection, it's hard, especially for, you know, first-time home buyers to do that because, of course, they're so worried about everything through the process. And I remember the first time I bought a house. Holy cow, down in Stevensville. But waive that and, you know, but and a lot of times what they do at that point in time, rather than waive it, is with them when they walk through, they have, you know, an engineer friend or they have a contractor friend. And really you should let the listing agent know if you're going to do that. But sometimes they bring someone there just to see if there's anything obvious, you know, that has a keen eye for that kind of thing.
It's kind of like when you go to buy a used car, you'll sometimes run it by your buddy's house and have them check for oil leaks.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And go mudding in it.
Yeah.
You know, they love that. You know,
a little test drive.
Yeah. A little test drive, you know. Yeah. And this time of year, there's plenty of mud. Just drive down my driveway. Brian will tell you how long that is. And And he's never come and helped me shovel it. So, but anyways, poor Brian. The next thing that we're seeing an awful lot on the incoming offers on our listings is lots of buyers are being coached by their agent to waive the appraisal, Casey, right? So, and that's really hard. Or change the way that's written on the buy sell. And what I mean by that is there's a clause on the Montana buy-sell that says, house must appraise for at least purchase price, or house must appraise for this. You can uncheck that box, and so therefore that would not be part of that. So if you offer 600 and the house is listed at 500, as crazy as that sounds, that's happening daily, okay? Then at that point in time, that seller no longer has to worry about whether his house appraises for 600. He knows you're going to come in with the difference, even if it appraises at 550 if they're doing financing. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's like why would you want to do that? Well, right now in Missoula, only 34 single family resident homes for sale. It's one of those things that they just have to do. The other thing too, if you're going to be waiving that appraisal, you need to make sure that you can prove that you have the assets to cover the overage or the difference. Okay, it's important to have
that'd be included in your letter or whatever.
It should, and if you're paying cash, obviously, typically they're not ordering an appraisal anyways, and that's one benefit for a seller when they're taking a cash deal. There's not going to be appraisal they have to deal with, or they're not going to have to deal with a financing contingency as well.
Whenever you say pay cash, I always just picture people showing up in black Suburbans with briefcases.
Oh, it happens all the time. Absolutely, yeah.
I got a cash offer. It's all in the back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it's one of those things. Yeah, they really get the sunglasses, everything. Yeah. One of the hardest things too, especially for the people who are watching all these house shows, where they're still finagling because it's repeats from like 4 or 5 years ago.
I've been watching. I've been watching too much actually.
Well, you start watching.
Love it or list it.
Yeah, love it or list it. Yeah, yeah. So it's funny because everybody still thinks that they can negotiate.
Yeah,
and there are times when you can't. So when could you? Huge days on market.
Yeah.
Okay. But typically, if a seller is
over 60 days, would you think?
Right now, long days on market is like 4 minutes.
Right. I know.
No. Yeah. If it's not under contract in 30 days in every sense of the word right now, it's indicative of either terrible marketing or being overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it'll virtually sell. It'll virtually go, if the marketing is good and the photography is good, the videography is good and everything else, realistically, you shouldn't have to go out past a 5, 6, or 7 day offer phase if you're a seller. If it's beyond that, in my humble opinion, it's either not being marketed correctly, they're not picking up the phone, a part-time, agent syndrome, or too busy, or it's just overpriced. More often than not, the price is too high because even in this market, even bad photos, sometimes people will still go see the house. Okay. Or the other thing that drives me crazy is, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, is when there's capital letters across the whole entire real estate description in there.
Like
the words
you're yelling.
It's like caps locks are on.
Just like the person's yelling the whole time.
Yeah, they're yelling at you. Super good.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
It's a super good marketing plan. Let me tell you, just scream at the potential buyer. Yeah. They might as well just put like the middle finger emoji there, and if you can't even do that. So, anyways, all right. So this next one is like, don't think about offering below asking. You really have to figure out in your mind mentally right now, and this could change at the drop of a hat, especially with these interest rates rising and some uncertainty in the world, World War III and that kind of thing. But don't even think about coming in below. Think about start thinking how much above that you should do. You should offer, and your agent can help you with that, or a qualified agent can. And I tell this to agents. The next one I can't repeat, because they'd have to beep it. But make sure that your agent is not being a to the listing agent. Okay, do you want to fill that in?
Don't be. You got it.
To the listing agent. Someone told me long ago, it's easier to bring bees to honey than vinegar. Is that? Did I say it right?
I think so.
Okay. If I didn't say it right,
that's the right.
You know what I meant.
Maybe we'll beep that one out too.
We should, because it was a horrible example, for sure. But don't be that agent that's just like that busybody agent that doesn't read the MLS, doesn't read any of the rules. It just drives us crazy. Be professional, be nice, we'll answer your questions, but have it together before you call, for agents.
So just don't be a jerk.
It kind of goes without saying, but it happens all the time. This morning it's like, you get these agents that call and they're moving so fast, it sounds like their hair is on fire. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, well, all of that information is actually right there in the MLS.
Just due diligence.
Well, it's just called a mouse click.
Yeah.
And you can see it. The information is readily available. It's amazing what happens when you look. Yeah. Another way that you can increase your likelihood of getting the home or the purchase is to use a bridge loan. And we touched on that last week, but I know there's some new listeners this week, is get a bridge loan. In other words, turn it from something you were thinking about financing into a cash offer by taking money out of the equity of your current home, buying that next one, and then selling your other house, okay? Because two things happen there. It's cash, and now you don't have a house to sell.
Yeah.
So it's like two positive things that could help you push your offer forward.
It'd be easy.
Yeah.
It's almost the equivalent of having a cash offer too, right?
Yeah. I mean, like if I think about it in a logical manner, which I'm not sure how often I do that. But anyways, like if I think about it logically, if I'm a seller and I have the highest offer is a cash offer, if they haven't asked me for an appraisal contingency, an inspection contingency, and they want to let me stay for 3 or 4 months after the closing so I can move all my hunting stuff out of my shop or whatever, right? My boats and all the stuff that drives my wife crazy. If they like that's, to me, that's the best offer. Truly. The flip side is, and I had someone yell at me, listen to this. Their client hadn't seen, and I mean yell.
In all caps.
When I mean yell, in all caps, with the fist flying, with the email, with the text messages, with the angry emojis, all that stuff. I can't believe we didn't win. And I go, your offer, we submitted an amazing offer. And I go, you did. So I pulled the offer up, okay, because I was waiting to see an amazing offer because I hadn't seen up to that point, except the one that won.
Just a bunch of zeros, huh?
They hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
It was an off-brand kind of financing, so they hadn't seen the house. So it was sight unseen.
Okay.
It was off-brand, and it was $50,000 below asking. But this here is an amazing offer. That's like fake news. If I've ever heard of fake news, right? You know what I mean? I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's an amazing, I'd hate to see a bad one.
Yeah, right.
How
dare you?
I was sitting there and I'm like, whoa, that's a good way to frame that, So get a bridge loan, right? Rather than do that. Let's keep going. Disclose the particulars. If your buyer is currently selling their home, we need to see that on there. We want to know the address. We want to know if it's under contract yet and everything else. The hardest thing for us to accept is sight unseen, number one. Okay, everyone thinks, they won't see it. No, believe me, they're going to come see it. And then they're going to tell you in 2 weeks that they don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay, they can wiggle out because they always put it subject to them seeing it at some point before closing. What if they come the day before closing, they don't like it?
Yeah.
But realistically, the next thing that we have on our list that we really, advise our clients not to accept is a house they have a house to sell, but it's not even on the market yet or under contract to buyer. Now, why would I advise my seller to do that? Put your house on the market, get it under contract like we talked about. They should go back and listen to last week's episode.
Right.
How to sell and buy at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So do that subject to the seller finding suitable housing, work something out with your incoming buyer. And then when you go to put an offer in this house, it looks like your affairs are all in order. Your house is sold. It's closing in 2 or 3 weeks if they can get this house, and off they go. Mm-hmm. So it's just a much better way to do that. Yeah.
So we got some more tactics to go over before the end of the show, but we're going to be back right after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Real Estate Revolution Radio with Jason Baker of Rise Realty.
Hey, if you are in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this: hire the agent that knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create demand in this market, no question, there's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Jason Baker of Rise Realty, Montana. Now, Jason can give you an instant cash offer, or with his accelerated demand program, well, he turns up the marketing and gets you the most money for your home. While the average agent sells a home or two every month and only spends a couple of $100 on marketing a year, Jason spends thousands of dollars every month to attract thousands of buyers. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Now, anyone can give you a home evaluation. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Jason at 552-4443. Online, jasonbakerteam.com. That's jasonbakerteam.com.
From listing your property to purchasing investments, Jason Baker has got you covered. Time for more of the Real Estate Revolution Show.
All right, and we're back with Real Estate Revolution Radio with Jason Baker of Rise Realty, going over some tactics for buyers in the market.
The tactics for buyers. So another thing we're starting to see in a lot, and we have been for a couple of years now, is where the seller or where the buyer will put in or the buyer will have their agent put something called an escalation clause into the offer, where it says we'll offer $550, but we'll go $5,000 over, so we'll go up to $605 if you can prove to us that someone else offered $600. So I'll go $5,000 over the next highest offer. It's called an escalation clause.
It's like eBay.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like eBay, but way more expensive.
Right.
Yeah. So that's another tactic. Not playing games, like just again being super forthright with your agent and with the listing agent. And then the other thing, and I kind of touched on it, but it's so important that your agent would ask us as the listing agent, how many offers? You got to know that so you can structure it correctly. It's one of the most important things to know, just because you're going to have to turn that dial up at some point, and an experienced agent will know just how to do that. You can still lose, but there's greater likelihood with the experienced agent to get that done. And then you should ask yourself if a short-term inconvenience, like when you go to sell your house, having 2 mortgage payments, so a short-term inconvenience is worth a long-term financial gain. Because people who buy right now before the rates go up are not only going to have a lower payment, but they're going to have some appreciation throughout this year. Not as much as last year, they estimate, but some. So they could gain that in wealth. They could also pay down their mortgage faster with a lower interest rate. And this is a win-win situation for a buyer.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how waiting, unless you just want to pay $400 or $500 more a month in interest. I mean, just throw it out. If they want to throw it out the window, you or I would take it, wouldn't we?
Sure.
I mean, heck, all day long. And
I like paying $400 extra a month for something. It's great.
Absolutely. The number one,
weighing the sarcasm on a little bit?
Yeah, it was a sarcasm. I was concentrating on this PowerPoint. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'll give you a courtesy laugh though, but definitely, Casey, considering offering the buyer the seller before they even ask for it, a rent back.
What's a rent back?
A rent back is when a rent back is when the seller can stay in the home after closing.
Oh, okay.
We hit that last week extensively. If that seller knows they don't have to move out immediately, they can get their money, then work on moving out over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. They would love that. So if you reverse offer that back to the seller and you're a buyer, they're going to be like, dude, that's amazing. And some of them do want to just move out. Some of them are ready, or sometimes a house is vacant. It's irrelevant. Don't do a rent back if the house is vacant. That's also another tip.
Yeah. I see that probably being a good idea.
It wouldn't be really important for the seller at that point. So offer to pay the seller side closing costs. You could say, hey, I'll pay all your closing costs, Mr. Seller, and I'll, if my offer's higher. So those are some of the great things that we could do, or that we could advise our buyers to do, and also their agents to do, in order to win one of our listings.
Yeah, and it's a tough market for both buyers and sellers sometimes when you think about it.
It really is. And I think, like I say, the reason why we're here is to educate. That's for sure. Which also simultaneously means we're boring the heck out of people for 30 minutes every Sunday. But if they can listen to this, play it for their spouse or whatever else before they go out, it just reduces anxiety both for sellers and for buyers in the community. And I think if we reduce that anxiety, we can actually increase the amount of listings that we have out there, which will help everybody.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
To shape up here soon. Speaking of which, do you have some new properties featured?
We do. I have been. I can't retire yet.
Yeah.
We had.
I was hoping for a break.
I know. We have 2 new listings that just came to market. One on 8085 Mesa, which is up by Maclay Bridge there in the O'Brien Creek area right there. Beautiful 1-acre home. It's a 2-level. Wonderful. Some kitchen updates and bathroom updates. It's 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths on an acre with a detached shop garage. I believe it's 16 by 20 or 14 by 20 concrete floor.
You had me at shop.
Yeah, I had you shop. You'd look good in there.
Thank you.
You absolutely would. Yeah, 100%. What are you doing in a little while? Go look at it.
Let's go look at it.
That's right. The open house is here in another hour. So that's one. That's a price at $699,900. We've had about 25 showings on that scheduled already. It just went live, I believe, yesterday. First showings today. The other one is 8944 Snapdragon. That's up at the Y, okay. Yeah, right there where they're building a bunch of those new houses. This is a manufactured home, but it's on a permanent foundation, was only moved once. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home, nice open layout. It's priced at $299,000. Now, based on the fact that we have 30-something now, because my phone's going off showings on that, I can't say what I think it'll sell for, but I know that both of those houses, based on the amount of showings they're going to sell for, so far over asking price, it's crazy. But we're going to be later today doing an open house on Mesa, so people should go and go over there and see Meredith. On my team will be doing that. And then the one on Snapdragon, we don't have time to do an open house because we couldn't get it into the paper because we just put it live this morning. So
don't mind me. I'll just be wandering around the shop at that place.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, absolutely. There's probably cookies inside, so that's where I'll be.
Who's the guy in the shop?
And that's listed at $299,000, that one on Snapdragon. Yep.
Okay,
so those are the houses of the week.
If you want to learn more about both your featured properties, you just visit.
Yeah, they're both there. Yeah, just go to jasonbakerteam.com and scroll down just a little bit, and right there you'll see all those houses, and you'll be able to look at the Matterports and walk through both of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got any ideas of what's coming up next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to be talking to a mortgage lender.
Oh, good.
He's going to talk to us for 15 or 20 minutes about the cost of waiting, like actually break out the spreadsheet. How much money do you lose per month? He's going to do all those calculations that make my head smoke.
Oh, okay? I can't wait for that, though, because that's one thing, is the dollars and cents and me doing math in my head in general. It's just a gerbil in there spinning around on a wheel.
That's why we get along.
Right.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Hopefully one of those gerbils will have a thought, which is great. Yeah. And then after that, we're going to be working on some mindset stuff next week because there's two kinds of real estate. Real estate that we buy, and then we also have real estate in our heads. So there's some positive thoughts to bring us through the weekend next week.
All right, perfect. Yeah. We'll be back again next Sunday right here on Newstalk KGVO. It's Real Estate Revolution Radio with Jason Baker, Rise Realty. We'll see you next week, Jason.
Thanks, buddy.